Welcome to Full Game Opinions. My name is Jonathan Hicks.
I'm Chantal Cointot.
I'm David J. Smith.
And I'm Mark Windle.
And we are continuing our adventure in the Legacy of Dragonholt. And we are on to, which chapter is it? It's called Whispering Leaves, I think. So we spent the past couple of days wandering around Dragonholt village, chatting to a few people, doing a bit of work. We got some heroism or something, didn't we?
We did some strength.
We
Yes,
bought some
physical training.
healing potions, which hopefully we won't use, but...
Yes.
A bit of a love story.
Well, that's right. We put those two together, didn't we? We did some meditation. That was good. And now we're going to go on an adventure, finally, because we need to get some fame. The one thing we didn't manage to do in the village was acquire any fame.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll do some heroic adventure and become famous.
I panic immediately and drink the swiftness potion, which gives me agility, awareness and thievery for a remainder of the current day. I'm sure that will come in useful.
So I think we bought that, didn't we, off
Yes.
from someone in the market, was it?
Yep,
Owl.
The guy with the moustache and the
Yes,
turban.
Alamir, although that was not his real name.
Yes.
All right. Do you want to kick us off, David?
Sure. You trek west along the road from Dragonholt, passing through the orchards and rocky plains until you reach the edge of Eventide Forest. You follow the main road on a long loop around the steep cliff face that forms one border of the forest, trading time for a better chance of finding some sign of Philip. No one on horseback would have taken the direct path. 2 time passes for each time that has passed today is recorded on the Dragonholt village tracking sheet. So we spent some time in the morning shopping.
All right.
So we passed 1 time, I believe.
We did.
Which means we mark off 2 time, as
Oh.
we didn't leave immediately to go and rescue Philip, and we have wasted some time.
Okay.
After perhaps an hour of travel, you come across your first sign that something might be amiss. A normally gentle brook is swollen far beyond its banks. Philip's path would have crossed the stream at a ford here, but there's no sign of the path under the churning brown waters. Some 100 paces downstream, you can see a tangle of roots and boughs, perhaps from where the flooding knocked down a tree. We can attempt to cross the stream here, look for a safer way across, or examine the area for any sign of Philip and Talbot. That would... time will pass unless you have the awareness skill or the survival skill. Well, normally I would not.
Yeah, but you drank
Well,
a
I've drunk a
potion.
potion that has given me awareness, so I would have that. Or if we had story point A4 marked.
Nope.
Okay. Or we could forge a bridge of ice to cross. I don't think we can, because we don't have anything that can do something like that. It would require a frost rune.
That sounds exciting.
Sounds very exciting. We don't have it.
Yes.
Well, our priority is to find the prince, Philip.
I am going to be looking for signs of werewolf attack, because I am convinced Talbot is a werewolf, merely because I am a film nerd and Larry Talbot is the name of the werewolf in the movie.
All right.
So I'm going to do that.
Go for it.
830. So I will flip mine over to activate, I think. I can't remember how this works. And then read 8830. You look around carefully and find clear hoof marks. Maybe he's a werehorse. Oh no. 2 horses passed this way yesterday morning and then came back later in the evening. The hoof prints moving towards Eventide Forest are deeper than the ones coming back. We know the horses came back riderless, so that's into that. The trail plunges directly into the tumultuous stream here. This is where Philip crossed, but the water looks rather dangerous after the recent rains. So we can attempt to ford the stream here, we can look for another way across, or we can forge a bridge of ice to cross. We still require that frost rune. So...
let's stay safe and just look for another path.
It's going to cost us time though, and
Yeah, I was going to brave it.
I think we're on a clock now.
I suspect we might lose a bit of stamina, getting tired, getting across.
Put
But
this
I
forward,
think we'll be
please.
all right.
Alright, so you want to brave your way across.
I do.
Okay,
Attempt
yeah.
to ford the stream here.
You grit your teeth and step into the churning water. The water is deeper than you thought, and the current stronger. You lose your footing and stagger into stones and drowning trees, standing at what should be the edge of the stream. You each lose 1 stamina.
I've only got 8.
Oh,
only got 10.
That's higher than 8.
Maybe.
Oh, hang on.
Can't count. I haven't got numeracy.
It is worse. You each lose 2 additional stamina unless you have athletics,
That's fine.
endurance, or survival.
I've got athletics, so
I've got endurance.
I don't have any of those.
I have
things.
none of those.
Even with the potion? Does the
The
potion
potion
help?
gives me agility, awareness, and thievery, but not athletics,
Yeah.
you're
endurance, or
literally out. I
survival.
stepped into the water, realised I'm a cat. I'm like, I'm
Was
just
that
gonna
2
bounce
more
onto
I've
the other
just lost?
side of.
I'm down to 5.
Ouch. We've got healing potions, haven't we?
He's got a potion of healing.
You pull yourself dripping onto the far shore and collapse for a brief rest. You squeeze as much water as you can from your clothes and check to make sure none of your gear was damaged. Then you press on toward the Tree of Tales. Time passes,
See, that'd been 2 time if we'd have looked at
and read entry 9792. You hike for a while deeper into the forest until the trees part and reveal a sun-drenched clearing. The Tree of Tales rises up above the clearing just as it did before. The wind rustles the leaves and the forest whispers, sharing the stories that have been secreted throughout its branches. The sun blazes high in the sky and crickets drone ceaselessly. The clearing throngs with the noisy silence of Allerfeld, nature bursting with life beneath the late summer sun. If story point A4 is marked, nope, it's still not marked. Read 1263. You look over the clearing for obvious signs of Philip or his manservant come bodyguard Talbot. The clearing is ringed by a handful of paths, each stretching out into the forest. Within moments, your eyes fall upon something large and dark. Your breath catches in your throat as you realise it's a corpse. A human man in Lady Regina's livery.
Oh.
Talbot!
He's a werewolf. I chop his head off.
He's a dead werewolf if he's a werewolf.
Oh, well, he's definitely a werewolf.
You crouch down to examine the body and realise that you were wrong. The man is still breathing, just barely, and his eyes snap open with a crazed stare.
Oh, he's a werehorse.
The young master, breathes Talbot. Each breath burbles in his throat
I don't speak werewolf. I can't understand.
as if through water. The arrows protruding from his chest rise and fall as he reaches for you with a fumbling hand.
Oh, they must be made of silver.
Bandits! They came, he wheezes, out of the forest. His free hand motioning in a vaguely western direction. Their leader wanted Philip alive. I drew my sword, but too slow. Tell her ladyship. Talbot lapses into silence, lies back, and breathes no more. There is nothing you could have done. His wounds too severe and too old to be mended by healing potions. You respectfully close the man's eyes and resolve to notify Lady Regina and the village guard after finding Philip. So we can search the clearing for more clues, or we can examine the paths for tracks. We need awareness for the first one or survival for the second one.
Well, we have 2 people left to make choices. Do you either have survival or awareness?
I have survival.
I don't have awareness.
Alright,
I guess-
Do you want to go for the survival one?
Yeah.
Yes, so it's that bottom one there.
Okay. You examine each path on the edge of the clearing, looking for signs of passage. You find heavy boot prints and scuff marks in the soft earth of a northwestern path. Discarded in the leaf litter nearby, you see a dagger marked with Philip's family crest. As you straighten up from the dagger, you spot movement and a flash of red in the trees. Someone or something is there, moving away from you. Call out for whoever it is to stop. Leap quickly to intercept, but that requires agility or athletics.
I have both of those.
Oh, or move cautiously and track whoever or whatever it was, and that requires stealth or survival. So
I'm gonna.
As a cat, I think
I'm gonna
you ought
make
to
it
leap
The
quickly.
claws are coming out.
okay.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
186. You sprint into the trees and see a human-like figure fleeing through the leaves away from you.
It's a werehuman.
You pursue and are quickly on her heels. With a great leap, you throw yourself upon her, and your momentum sends you both sprawling to the ground. You lose 1 stamina. You've caught a yowling and spitting Hicks woman. Her brown fur is mottled with grey, and her tufted ears are tucked flat against her head in what you assume is an expression of hostility and fear. Mark story point L6.
This is like a cat woman, is it? Like you are, like a cat
I
folk
guess so.
person.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evil. Werecats.
I'm sorry, L6.
L6.
Okay.
I didn't have anything to do with what happened to those humans, she growls. Let me go. Her posture and demeanour are threatening, but you notice she now is now favouring her left leg. We can either say, sorry, you're free to go. Or actually, I can say, can't I? It's my choice.
Yep.
What happened to the humans? Who are you? What are you doing here?
Do we want to know what happened to the human? It's a
We
priority,
do.
isn't it? Yes. So yeah, what happened to the human? It is.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Who she is
Yes.
first.
The high-ranks woman hedges away from you cautiously. Some of the bandits who live in the ruined castle to the northwest came, and they shot the whole human. The human cub tried to run, but they beat it and took it towards their castle. She looks away, her ears and tail twitching. There was an elf with them. He said something about the boss wanting the cub alive. With a sudden rush of speed, she climbs high into the branches of a nearby tree. You see her give you a final glare before leaping to another tree and moving west through the forest.
No.
So we can return to the trail and head northwest, or follow after her. But following after her requires awareness or survival.
I have awareness. We could follow her. If we believe her, then we.
We need to head to
Then
the
we head
follow
northwest
the
to the
tracks
castle.
before they leave. Right? Too far away.
Yeah, I'm inclined to trust her.
Yeah. I'm a trusting kind
Who wants
Anyway.
I'll
Yeah. Just
take us
one.
northwest.
Mhm.
3, 2, 4, 3. You follow the trail northwest into the forest. Before very long, you find a silk handkerchief in the centre of the trail. It looks like it's been trod into the mud, but when you smooth it out, you see it is an elegant P embroidered into one corner.
For Philip.
Time passes. The path turns to the north and follows along a winding brook. Upstream, the brook widens into a cliffside pond, fed by a small but vigorous waterfall. The path winds around and up to a series of rocky cliffs and scrub-clad slopes.
Small but vigorous, that's me.
The pond and waterfall are surrounded by a moss-carpeted glade beneath a canopy of trees thick with hanging vines. As you approach the pond, you hear shouting and crude laughter dimly from the direction of the waterfall. Someone is coming. In just moments, they'll be in full view. So we can hide nearby, we can prepare to ambush the approaching bandits, or we can pretend to be a bandit. All four.
Ambush. If
We
we're sure the
don't know
bandits.
how many there are, so ambushing.
There's 4 of us.
Yeah. But if they're a
We'll get them.
horde of
Yeah,
them.
We'll get
I
them.
like the idea of ambushing.
Ambush means you might learn something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or pretending to be a bandit means you might learn something.
Yes, yeah.
But if you hide nearby as well, you could listen to the
You
talks
also
as they
might.
go past.
Yep. Good. Glad I said that.
Let's punch them.
Do you want to punch them, Mark?
Yes.
Alrighty.
It's the middle one now.
Yep, you got it. You scramble up the trail and hide behind some bushes on a rocky outcropping beside the waterfall. The bandits step through the curtain of water. 2 women, one holding an axe, the other holding a bow. The archer flicks her eyes past you, then glances back, focusing on your hiding place. She pulls an arrow from her quiver and knocks it in her bowstring. She has seen you. Well, you
Nope.
rubbish at hiding.
It's
we've
my
got-
brightly pink and purple
We've-
clothes, I'm sorry.
You basically have an option, because only you left it. You can leap down and attack, cut her bowstrings before she can fire, if you have thievery.
I do, because I drunk a swiftness
Yes.
potion.
That's tempting. Release a bolt of electricity, requires runes as a skill,
Yep, I've got that too. Oh yeah, I have magic.
or freeze her in a place, requires a specific frost rune.
I don't have a frost rune. Oh, I want to use some of my magic. I'm also, I drunk a potion.
Yes, yeah.
Mm.
Seems like
Cutting a bowstring sounds
Yeah.
awfully tricky, even
Yeah.
as a thief.
I'm going to just
It'd be
release
very-
a bolt of electricity.
It'd be cool if you pulled it off though.
Yes.
It's about to fire with it.
I like the idea.
As the arrow
Yeah,
just falls
cutting
down.
the bowstrings, fire. But I also like the idea
I'm
of
using the
electrocuting
magic.
her. So 3173 is a fire a bolt of electricity.
And that's the last one, isn't it? So
Yeah.
we all get them
Yeah.
back.
In the moment the bandit knocks her arrow, you draw a lightning rune from your sleeve. She draws back, arrow point trained on your chest. You grip the rune shard and electricity crackles around your fist. In a flash, your bolt of lightning arcs from your hand to the bandit's wet clothing. She shrieks and her arrow flies wide, missing you entirely. The surge of electricity has left your arm numb, and you can feel that your heartbeat is irregular. However, you notice the bandit's bowstring is bowed up, her bow now useless. Mark story point Y2. I lose 2 stamina, putting me down to 3.
Ouch.
Those health
Might have to
potions
glug
are
my health
tasty.
potion.
Yeah.
Is it something you can drink at any time, or?
Yes, as long as your activation token's not being used.
Oh, and it is being used now, so you can't do it during your turn.
No, it's okay because David was the last person to activate it. At that point, they all refresh.
Okay.
So I'm going to drink that and get back
Yes.
4, putting me up to
Could be- yeah.
7.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Alright. The larger axe-wielding bandit wheels and charges at you, her weapon trailing behind her, building momentum for a devastating attack. I'm like... meet her assault with your own, or anticipate her swing and dodge it. No skills are required. Anyone have immediate thoughts of what they want to do?
No?
I mean, dodging seems pretty good.
Alright then, you can dodge. 1, 3, 3, 2, I believe.
You read the bandit's stance and shift to avoid her attack. When it comes, the axe blurs through the air. Your careful balance and judgment gives way to pure reflex. If you have agility or reasoning, ooh, that doesn't sound like me.
Yeah. I've had the wrong person go for
No.
I believe I
Yeah.
have agency.
Otherwise, so it's gonna be otherwise.
You might get axed in the face.
That's okay, I can take that. The bandit jabs at you with a spear that, while crude, is more than sufficient to keep you stumbling and wrong-footed. You keep looking for an opening, but nothing presents itself. Finally, in desperation, you aim your blasting rune at the bandit's feet and unleash another torrent of magic. The resulting explosion knocks you both falling, but you're the only one who stands back up. You stagger around, find your dropped flame rune, and then realize a new group of bandits is approaching. Use 4 stamina,
Ouch.
yeah. And read and treat 9
You're
5.
just
Yeah, but
not
that's
as good as magic as I am.
yeah, exactly.
Should have got more of those healing potions.
Moving like stalking wolves through the valley's mist-soaked grass, a group of bandits approach you. Some have knives, others have cudgels, and one of 2 have long yeoman's bows. Several bandits encircle you, emerging from that persistent valley mist like phantoms. One of the bandits, a huge human man with straight black hair and death in his hooded narrow eyes, steps forward. You know, we don't have to kill you, he says. You can just give up. We'll even let you go after we take all your money. Probably amends the woman behind him, a tall, dark-skinned human with dramatic patterns shaved into a tight cap of brown curls. After all, we do love to watch Kimball work. I don't know who Kimball is, but I'm not sure I want to know.
He didn't kill his wife.
Yeah. Challenge the huge bandit to a duel. Attempt to turn them against one another,
Oh, classic.
or freeze the bandits in place, but that requires the frost
I
roll.
mean, it feels like somewhere we could have got a frost room.
Well,
So-
I do like a bit of duelling.
Turning them
Oh,
against each other,
yes.
so classic. Like that guy said, your mum sucks eggs.
The dueling also sounds good to me. I think if we pick our best dueller, I feel like we'd stand a chance.
Yeah, I fancy a bit of duelling.
Who's
No fair.
going?
I think Mark should do this, Mr.
Yeah.
Military dueling.
That's the top one.
Cool. Hopefully it's using my skill. The massive human strides forward, his hand resting on his pommel of his broadsword at his waist. He chuckles loudly, but it doesn't touch his eyes, which narrows still further. You think you can take me on, all by yourself? I'd like to see you try. The other bandits hoot and howl as they form a tight circle around you. Kill him, Kimball, shouts the dark-skinned woman. Rip him to pieces, hollers another. Kimball raises his hand, and the circle of bandits fall silent. Then he speaks. You beat me, you can go wherever you want. I win, you're going nowhere. Before you can make any sort of reply, Kimball's sword is leaping from its sheath and slashing across your chest like lightning. The blow knocks the wind through your lungs and forces you to stagger backwards. His sword wasn't so dull, it might have cleaved you clean in two. You lose 5 stamina.
Ouch!
Still going.
I said to make them fight against each other.
But if you have the dueling skill, read entry 62.
I hope you have that.
Do you have the dueling skill?
I was expecting your cat-like reflexes to work a bit faster than that.
Kimball slashes at you again. This time you're ready. You block his strike with one hand and drive your other into his elbow, ruining that arm. Then you follow through with an elbow to the stomach, pivoting inside his reach. Kimball wraps a good arm around you and tries to choke hold around your throat. You lose 2 stamina.
Yeah.
I believe I am on but 1 stamina.
1 stamina, what are you doing?
You push up the ground with both feet, causing him to stagger backward and step. Then you bring your full weight down his left knee with a loud crack. Kimball collapses, groaning on the ground behind you. Unable to stand. You win, he says, clutching his broken arm.
Yeah.
No more, please. The woman with the maze-like hair crouches beside Kimball and begins tending to his wounds. Go now, she mutters to the ground. You won't have any more trouble from us, just go. The other bandits step back in silence. Some of them help carry Kimball towards the encampment while others break away and flee towards the waterfall, perhaps giving up bandit life for good. Oh. The dark-skinned woman watches you as you make your way towards the tower, a mixture of fear, anger and respect behind her greys.
Ooh, is that fame?
No.
No, it's not fame.
I tried.
Yeah.
You approach the bandits at the door. Their apparent leader, an elf man with pearlescent, almost blue skin, drops his hand to his sword. What's this then, he asks. I don't believe we met, stranger. They call me Shark. His grin is wide and full of triangular teeth. The thought of what he did to make them that way makes your jaw ache and your mouth taste like iron. You ready your weapons, and Sharp leaps backwards, slashing affectionately at you with his sword. We got troubles, Shark hisses, and the other 2 bandits leap to surround you. Shark, with his hook sword, stands between you and the door. A lanky human man with a fire-hardened spear approaches you from the left. A gnome woman with its curved knife lunges to you from the right. So, somebody's option?
Well, we dealt with these bandits.
These are normal ones.
No,
Yeah,
so
we-
we dealt with the bandits and they said you can go where you want. So
That's
we
true.
went, we're going to go up to the castle.
Yeah,
And
and it
that's
kind of felt
where
like there
the
was
door
no
of the
little bit
castle.
in between there. We walked to the castle.
Okay.
We're just there. So somebody else's option. Catch the gnome and throw her into the human. Sounds fun.
I like it.
Launch a tactical assault to break through. Blind the gnome with runic magic. Requires rune skill.
Yeah, I've got rune skill.
Mm.
Well, it's somebody else's decision anyway.
It's between you
Go
two.
for
Use
it.
my runes again, they're fun.
Yeah.
You produce 2 runes from your pocket. A lightning rune and a blasting rune. The gnome woman leaps into the air and thrusts a dagger at your chest. You hold the lightning rune in an outstretched hand. A brilliant flash of light erupts from your palm. If you have the agility skill... Oh my god, I'm so glad. This is the best 50 or whatever we spent on this.
Yeah, it was 50 gold.
Yeah. All worth it.
9289. Blinded by the light. The woman's knife merely slashes across your forearm, causing you to drop the lightning rune to the ground. She lands hard and rolls into the human's legs, and they collapse in a tangle of flailing limbs. I lose 3 stamina. Down to 5. The elf, Shark, clutches at his eyes and then rushes forward, swinging wildly with his hooked sword. You step aside from his first clumsy blow, but before you can find some way to exploit his evident blindness, he's swinging again and again. With only your blasting rune still to hand, you lift it and unleash a burst of force. If you have endurance or willpower... Uh-oh. I do not. 3, 5, 6, 3. A sound like a thunderclap erupts from your closed fist, causing the air to ripple. You and Shark both go flying through the air. You land on the soft earth a few paces away, rattled and gasping. But as you climb to your feet, you realise the bandits all got it worse than you. I'm amazing. Shark is lying in a crumpled heap against the tower wall, aching and limping. I'm not showing it. You retrieve your lightning rune and make your way into the tower. You lose 4 stamina, putting me
Down
on
to 1.
1.
That's 2 of you now.
Time passes.
Oh, okay.
And then a re-entry 4387.
Are health potions transferable?
If it's yes, exactly.
Yes.
If it's just still your turn, I could give you my stamina potion.
I am activated at the
Oh,
moment,
yes,
so I
yes.
can't drink one.
Hmm.
4387. The ground floor of the tower is seemingly 2 semicircular rooms. The room is lit by tall, narrow windows. A stone stairway winds up the external wall to your left. Aside from a few empty baskets, the room is devoid of furnishings. In the middle of the central wall is a door that must lead into the other half of the ground floor. The door is made of sturdy wood, but you see no immediate signs that it is locked. So the choices you've got are
Yeah.
examine the doorway or climb the stairs. Neither of them require skills, but if the doorway is locked, I suspect it requires something like thievery. But, I mean, as in traditional with these things, you want to head up.
Yes.
That's the Dungeons and Dragons way. But also, you like to investigate everything.
Yeah. Any preferences?
I have no preference.
No.
I think I like the idea of looking at the door,
Sure.
just because of my thievery.
And then we will all reactivate.
Oh yes. So incidentally, if you want to drink any
Oh,
healing
yes,
potions
I'm
at
going
this
to.
point, we'll pass
So
them
can I
over.
just-
Someone want to give me a healing
Yes,
potion?
I'll pass.
Thanks, I'll go up to 5 health. 5 stamina. Thank you.
6. Yeah, we'll have a quick look in there. 4226. You creep up to the door. Its wood is old and somewhat warped. Knots and flaws in the boards now exaggerated into small holes. You lean forward and place an ear to one hole, listening for any signs of life on the other side. If story point U5 is marked, nope. Read entry 2437.
We haven't killed whatever's in there, so...
Mm.
Before you even quiet your breath, you can hear the sound of snoring through the door. You listen a bit longer, but hear no signs that anyone else is in the room. Cautiously, you push open the door just enough to take a look. Peering into the room, you see a pot-bellied orc asleep on a creaking wooden bench. 2 rows of rickety wooden cots lie against the walls. The orc is alone. A ring of heavy iron keys hangs from his belt, and an obscenely large dagger rests against the bench, a few inches from his twitching, sleeping hand.
You can get them.
Yeah. So, sneak into the room and steal the keys, or close the door and head up the stairs. Now, actually, I can do this because
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
You can.
We've
you can
refreshed
read-
everyone, isn't it?
I think it's
Yeah.
your
the last
time.
one.
Yeah.
all right,
So
here we
this
go.
is your
You
job.
do have
So this now exhausts my token. 7796. You creep into the room on soft cat-like feet until you stand beside the sleeping orc. The key ring is tucked partially under his hip. You give the ring a subtle pull, but this only serves to disrupt the orc's slumber. If you have stealth or thievery,
Yeah,
tick tick,
both done them up.
read entry 7893. The orc shifts in his sleep, but does not wake. In his new sleeping position, you are able to work the keyring off his belt loop, careful not to let the keys rattle against one another. Gain the iron keys, item
Nice.
K.
Okay.
I think they're handy.
Having successfully robbed the orc, you take another look around the room. Various baskets, grey and brittle with age, are stacked in the corners of the room and under cots. So we can search the room. It feels like we're pushing our luck a bit here. Or we can sneak out of the room and head up the stairs.
Head
I
upstairs.
agree with that. Let's not.
Okay, who would
Yeah,
like
so
to
it's
head up the
something
stairs then?
I think. Are you quiet?
I've got
You're quiet
not
and then-
quiet,
oh.
though. I've got athletic. I'm quick.
Yeah. All right. Someone quick. Go on. Head up the stairs.
Okay.
Oh.
6421.
We have iron keys. Just a
Mm.
picture of some keys. Says you claimed a set of iron keys from an orc bandit in the Eventide Forest. That's it.
Great.
The tower's upper floor is a single large room. The stairway winds along the west wall down to the ground floor and up the high rooms of the tower. The east wall is crumbling and mostly collapsed. A window is set into the south wall of the room overlooking the valley. Against the north wall stands a decaying weapons rack. You spot a tarnished axe and a bent spear, but nothing of any real value. A large wooden table and a smattering of chairs are laid out near the stairway. A large wooden cage stands in the centre of the room, crudely but solidly built, with a heavy iron padlock on it. If 10 or more time has passed...
Nope.
Nope. Hopefully the kid's in the...
Tell them it's just a
because
leg.
otherwise... yeah.
Just a leg left.
A young man, no, a boy,
14 years?
sits on the floor of the cage. Hey, we don't actually know what this kid looks like. We never went and asked. We probably should go to the countess and go, what does Philip
We're
look
just going to
like?
bring back a random kid.
Yeah, I suspect that
Hopefully
might be...
she doesn't know what he looks like either.
His features are delicate. Well, that's probably a good sign. And his green eyes glimmer with unfallen tears. He looks up at you as you approach us and leans against the cage bars. Seeing who's approaching, Philip, we saw now, expression changes. Now filled with hope. And we throw the keys out the window. It's very cool. He pulls himself up to a crouch. Oh, thank goodness. You'll let me out of here, right? Please hurry. My uncle could return at any moment.
His uncle.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yes.
So hang on. What,
He's the one who's trying to get them all to
Yeah.
take control.
not the steward then?
No. We know. I just think the steward's a bad guy still, but the uncle is the one that's overtly being like, I want to rule this.
Okay.
But she's like, oh, but I rule, and I'm passing it to my kids. And he's like, no, I want it.
All right, got it.
The boy's eyes glimmer with tears. Oh, thank you, thank you. I was certain I was going to die here. The cage is made of heavy wooden beams, apparently a more recent construction than the rest of the decaying tower. So they've been here this has been...
Or it's a trap, and he's a doppelganger. We should get some... Oh, they're iron keys. We'll press the iron against his forehead, because like if they're a demon, they won't like the iron.
Heaven iron padlock secures the door, but the cage doesn't seem bolted down, so we can just carry it if we really want it. Security owned by its own tremendous
Just chuck it
weight.
out the tower.
Unlock the cage door. Requires iron keys.
Yeah.
These ones.
Pick the lock. Requires thievery. Are we really going to? There's 6 of them.
No, we'll use the
I
iron
think we're just
keys.
going to use the keys.
I
That
want
we
to know what the other one.
lift the cage alone with your tremendous strength was one of the options, or grab the axe and break it over.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's
Right.
Let's use the keys.
Who
yeah.
wishes to use the keys?
I think your token's exhausted, isn't it?
Yes.
Because you just went upstairs.
Oh yeah.
So it's.
I'll open it up because I want to make sure that I surreptitiously press the iron against him to check if he's a demon. So where are we? Unlock the cage door. 3, 5, 8, 9. You have to try several keys. There's only 4 on there. So I think it's the 4th
2
key.
or more.
But eventually you find one that fits and turns in the lock. The mechanism falls open and Philip pushes through the door, laughing in deep, dry sobs. Thank you, he says, pulling himself to his feet. Let's get out of here before my uncle comes back. Read 1980. Not so fast! The voice cuts through the room like a chill wind. You turn to see a broad-shouldered man with a scar running across his face standing at the stairs. Cool, scars are cool. The same man who led the bandits you encountered at the Tree of Tales just days ago. He holds a black crossbow, the point of its quarrel gleaming in the evening light. Uncle, says Philip. His eyes go wide as he stares at the crossbow. So you've finally come to do it then. Remember, Uncle, the spirits hate kinslayers worst of all. You've forced my hand, Philip. The bandit leader shakes his head. If only you would see reason. Join me. Throw your support behind my claim. Support me over your sister as heir.
Your hate.
Your mother was never supposed to be the Countess. That's my title she holds. You're a monster, Uncle Kirik, shouts Philip. You killed Sonia, didn't you? Admit it. Enough, says Kirik, and pulls the trigger on his crossbow.
Oh, no.
Our choices are for
That's
yourself.
wrong person.
Yeah. Do I
Push Philip out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
Are you fast in any way?
I am not.
Well,
but
you
I am
could
a-
instead put yourself between Philip and his uncle.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of help.
Selflessly take the hit. Or you can just push him out of the window.
Is there
out
any
of the way.
requirement?
There's no requirements. I'm suspecting
Yeah.
the next entry will say if you have this.
Yes, yeah.
So you want to pick the one that you're
Ah, well.
probably going to be better at.
Yeah.
How are you looking health
Because
wise?
I have survival.
She's on like 14.
You got
Yeah.
endurance,
Well, I'm
I
on
think,
a-
putting yourself.
Some of us have been at 1
I'm on
health.
9 now, but yes.
9. Oh, that's enough. It's fine.
So
I shall-
those are the choices there.
Put myself between Philip and his
Nice.
uncle and activate my survival skills. I'm gonna survive this, surely. 16.
I think
82.
survival isn't a thing that just lets you survive stuff. I think it's more like you shank people. And
I've been lied to. For an instant time seems to flow like honey. You step in front of Philip, watching him with a curious sense of detachment as the glimmering point of Kirik squall comes spiraling towards your chest. If you have 2 or more of the following skills, agility, brawling, or devotion, I only got brawling,
Oh,
unfortunately. Otherwise,
if only you drunk the swiftness potion.
Yeah.
You'd probably be dead by this point.
I think we're just anticipating you're
Oh,
just
no, I
going
would
to take it
have
in
had.
the chest.
If I'd taken it, I would have had agility and devotion.
Yeah.
The world turns red.
Oh, no.
There is no pain so much as blankness as you find yourself lying on the cold stone floor. You struggle to sit up and are suddenly immobile with pain, gasping and curling uselessly around the shaft protruding from your chest. You lose 10 stamina. I was on 9.
Alright, so that means you have to lose a skill usage.
Okay.
So, I think.
Yes.
Um,
You lose 1 for each.
yeah, so that's like when we had back at the town, which says
Yeah.
you regain a skill. That is what happens. So you
I
need
mean, I think I'm going to lose survival because it doesn't work.
So stamina goes to 0. Is it how many points below 0 you go, or is it just the fact that you've gone below 0 and loses the skill?
I think every time you're below 0 and take damage,
Okay, you lose another skill.
you lose
Alright.
if you can't take damage, I think you lose a skill. So I think this will put you to 0. And lose
So you
the
don't
skill.
go back up to 14 and
Might
lose a
just get
skill.
Okay. Spits the bandit leader before turning on his heel and disappearing down the tower stairs. Philip kneels beside you. Oh, this looks bad, he says,
Master of understatement.
rummaging in his pockets for something. He produces a small bottle filled with red liquid, breaks the wax seal, and brings the bottle to your lips. This will help while the wound is still fresh. He removes the bolt as you drink the bitter liquid, and your chest swells. At least it's no longer bleeding. Philip helps you to your feet. We'd better leave. You recover half of your maximum stamina and read entry 5, 1.
I
2,
shout
0.
down, you better run!
And we all refresh our activation tokens, don't we? 'Cause this
It's
was
the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You rush to the staircase, Philip in tow. You can hear shouting and the clatter of weapons from below. You toss a few of the nearby chairs down the stairs to slow the bandits before overturning the table into the stairwell. Philip glances at the stairs leading higher in the tower and then at you. What are we doing now? He asks. Ascend higher into the tower, and this option does not exhaust your activation token, so I could continue that. Or escape through the collapsed cast wall. Oh, that doesn't exhaust my activation token either. So it means that for both options I continue.
Well,
or is it-
anybody
for
anybody
anybody.
can,
Yeah. Okay.
anybody can just
So
run,
yeah,
it's
like
good.
whoever wants to
So
take
we've got
over.
running up,
Mm.
which is, I mean, none of us can fly.
Yes, indeed.
So it feels like it's a mistake, but maybe there's something up there.
Yeah.
A giant
Dragon.
slide, maybe, down to the ground.
Yeah, I was hoping like a giant eagle or something. A slide would be more fun. We didn't see a slide when we came up to this tower.
That's true, yeah, it's okay.
Right, okay.
That's
So,
right. Helped us go.
Because escape through a collapsed wall doesn't sound nearly as fun. It's
That's probably the wiser decision, though, I think.
nah, we're not wise.
well,
So who wants to?
I really want to go up the tower, even though I know it's by far the worst
yeah,
of the
me
two
too,
decisions.
me too.
Let's just do it.
Go on then, go on.
All right, go on, you go on.
Down.
Well, I can climb. I'm a cat. I can climb down.
That's true.
That's true.
Scale down the outside wall.
This is a terrible, terrible decision, but oh well.
Yeah. This is what people do in horror movies, and the audience shout, "You're an idiot!"
Yes.
You climb the stairs through a smaller room with no windows. That'll help us. Then still to the roof. A lip of the valley ridge is an overhang, not more than a couple of paces away and above you. Oh, so we're underneath a little bit of a ridge anyway. Ah. Several trees grow along the edge of the cliff above you, low-hanging branches and draping vines within your reach.
Make it.
You might be able to climb to safety, but the tree branches and vines don't look sturdy enough to hold more than one person at a time. You hear shouting and hacking of axes against the wood echoing up the stairwell. So this is somebody else's decision now already.
That didn't activate you turning to that.
Okay,
Oh,
so
yes.
so I can make this decision.
So we can sit. Yeah.
So either we can send Philip up first. Secure the climb with rope requires craftsmanship skill or reasoning skill. Come on, rope, you can do it.
Oh, yeah, because
I'm
I did
leaving
the
you,
last
rope. Come on. Hi. Bolster the tree with runic magic.
Yes,
Yeah.
always. Any chance to use my magic, I use it. No, wait. Why am I? What did you say? What word did you say?
Bolster the trees
Bolster. Yeah, that makes
with
more sense than
runic
blast.
magic.
I was going to say.
I blast the tree. There goes our escape route. Yeah. I feel like nature coursing through me.
Think back to the shrine. Think of the oneness with nature.
Yes.
Grow. Where are we? Your growth rune looks like a gnarled piece of wood, as strong as stone, and pulses warmly in your hands as you coax it to life. The trees and vines hanging over the tower ripple and expand with each pulse, seeming to reach gently for you as you step forward and begin your ascent. The climb is remarkably easy, with the tree bending itself to provide convenient footholds for each stage of your journey. You hear shouting and heavy footfalls on the stairs. A moment later, 2 bandits are on the roof. One rushes forward, the other falls back and bends her bow. If you have devotion or survival, have devotion. Because I believe in my power, I believe! The archer draws and looses, sending an arrow arcing for you. But the tree twitches and the arrow deflects harmlessly from a trembling bough. Pow! The second arrow meets the same fate, and as the other bandits attempt to climb up, the lower limbs thrash about, hurling him back to the tower roof, straight into another group of bandits emerging from the stairs. The resulting confusion buys you all the time you need to make it safely across. You drop from the tree onto solid ground and waste no time before grabbing Philip by the hand and sprinting through the forest towards the southeast.
Yeah.
9982. Yeah, magic mofos.
This feels like an ending number.
Yeah.
You and Philip race through the forest, the bandits somewhere behind you baying like a pack of hunting hounds. You reach the great tree where Talbot's body still lies, and Philip points towards the path back to the village. This way, he says. You grab Philip by the hand and drag him in an entirely different direction, following your route out of the forest the last time the bandits were chasing you. Your way features a difficult climb up a steep cliff, but it's faster than the path Philip suggested and doesn't require you to cross a rain-swollen stream. After you run through a narrow gulch and race along a rocky ridge towards Dragonholt, the noise of the bandit dies out behind you. When you reach the bottom of the cliff, Philip pauses to catch his breath. I don't hear any bandits. That was a good idea, taking this route. Of course, they chased after me down the road I took to get here. With no bandits actively shooting you this time, you carefully hike up the cliff face and make your way through the thinning forest towards the rambling orchards outside Dragonholt. Once you make it to the apple trees, you pause, and Philip helps himself to a few early apples. This is good. Those bandits never fed me. I'm starving. Philip suddenly chokes out a sob halfway through his apple. Oh, spirits be good. I was about to ask Talbot to remind me to pay the farmer for these apples, but Talbot's dead now. Philip folds in half, his half-eaten apple rolling away. Sonia and Talbot, and damn near me. How many more corpses will it take for my snake of an uncle to be satisfied? You move to comfort the boy, but before you can, Philip wipes at his face, blinking away his tears, and straightens up. Enough, he says, fresh revolve flashing in his eyes. He pushes away from the apple tree he'd been leaning against and tugs at his tattered finery. I can fall to pieces later, when I'm safely home. You continue through the orchards and pass beneath the dragon statues. Somehow, the statue of black stone seems larger and more fearsome than it did when you passed through it earlier. Shaking off the thought, you reach the village green. The bandits wouldn't dare chase you into the village, you hope. Mark story point J1.
Okay.
The quest is complete.
Wow.
Read entry 9591 in Dragonholt Village.
Well, we did that very quickly. We haven't even got halfway through the day.
Well, we've got
We were efficient.
95.
If we'd have gone for that long route round the stream, it would have been
Yeah,
touch and
so
go,
we could
but
have,
we
yeah.
were... Well, that was a good idea. We climbed that tower rather than taking
Yeah.
the obvious route out.
Yep. As you reach the village green, a human woman emerges from the shrine. Philip, she shouts, rushing towards you. She has Philip's same fine boned face, large green eyes and light brown skin, but her hair is a barely restrained mash of brown curls to his soft black locks, and she's almost a full head taller. Shell, says Philip, it's good to see you. The woman wraps her arms around Philip and lifts him off the ground, laughing. I'm so relieved. I wanted to ride off after you and cut my way through the forest if need be, but Mother wouldn't allow it. You're the heir now, says Philip. Mother was just being cautious. Rochelle clasps one fist to her chest and gives you a formal soldier's salute. Thank you for saving my brother. Truly, Celise said you could do it. Celise was right, says Philip. He turns to you. I imagine you'll want to freshen up, but you should really come to the manor as soon as you can. Mother will want to thank you too. Philip bows, and then he and Rochelle walk off into the darkening evening. She wraps an arm around him and they lean their heads together, talking in low tones as they make their way towards the manor. All remaining time today passes.
Oh, okay.
So I think we're in the village now. But
Yeah.
So is that on day 3?
Day
Past
3.
So day 3.
And the encounter is complete.
So this brings us back to this, does it?
We're in
we're in
Dragonholt,
the, we're in
Dragonholt
the
village,
village now,
but-
so I think the time passes.
Oh, we are in the...
We're in the village, yeah.
Oh, hang on. So forget about the Whispering Leaves time.
That's done.
You're saying all the time in the
Then-
village
I
passes.
think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. It says the
That
day.
makes sense. We have spent
Yeah.
all day, haven't we, fighting bandits.
Yep.
All right.
It's the, yeah, because we walk off into the darkening evening.
And it says when all time has passed, we read 5352. Does it tell you to do anything else there?
It just says this encounter is complete, so the next person who wants to read can
Yeah,
read that.
5352.
I think we end. Yeah, should
Fly.
we read
Yeah.
the rest of that and then I suspect that'll.
The moon shines through a thin layer of clouds. The night is crisp and threatens rain, but the swan is warm and inviting as you clean off the dust of your day. If story point J1 is marked, I should hope
I
so,
think that's
after all
it.
that. Read entry 8461. I wonder if you can get back without him.
Well, there was
Well,
a time
time
passes
10,
thing,
yeah.
so maybe.
If we'd have spent 5 time points, we'd have been definitely at 10 by the point we
Because
got
he's
there.
not the heir, Rochelle is.
Okay.
So he would maybe just back up the other claim, maybe back up the uncle if you don't.
Plus, yeah, he's definitely going to prove that the uncle.
So who's Rochelle then?
It's
Not
sister-
Sophia.
Philip's
Not
sisters.
Sonia.
Yeah.
I
So
don't
there's
know.
3 kids.
I
Yes.
guess.
Apparently so.
I can't remember who Rochelle is,
Yeah,
so I'm just
I'll
going
just
with
check
the last paragraph we had.
Another one's just going to randomly appear soon.
Yeah, slow. I'm just going with it.
You push through the swan's door into a crisp, clear night. The crescent moon so bright you could read by it. When you reach the manor house, the door is opened by a stocky human man, the stable master, you'd suspect. He peers at you as he ushers you inside. Her ladyship and the rest are in the solar, he says. Up those stairs there. He gestures to a heavy stone stair that climbs up to an ancient stone balcony overlooking the great hall. Then he returns to a long table where a half-dozen other servants are cleaning up from dinner. When you reach the balcony, you pass through an arch into the manor's ancient east wing, a stone roundhouse from Dragonholt's more violent past. Regina is seated in a tall chair of carved black wood with her children on either side, each clutching a hand. Celise stands by one of the tall, narrow windows, smiling at the noble family. The steward, Timothy, whispers something to a servant who promptly vanishes down a staircase near the hearth. Be welcome, please, says Regina. She makes no effort to stand. With a nod, she indicates a number of chairs forming a broad circle in the centre of the room. Please sit. My son has been telling me of your heroism in Eventide Forest. Your fame increases by 2.
Yes, let's go get us some goblins.
Ooh. I would like to hear more about the bandits, says Celise, crossing from the window to take her own chair. Yes, says Rochelle. She has acquired a sword from somewhere, which now leans against her chair in its scabbard. How many? How are they armed? Where exactly is this ruined tower? Her fingers drum on the hilt of her sword. It won't matter, Shell. Sorry, that was Philip.
He's his
It's
voice is
zero.
Yes, yeah, it's 14.
Been a
this
busy
afternoon.
day.
It won't matter, Shell, says Philip. The boy slumps in his chair as he might slide off to puddle, snoring on the floor at any moment. By now they've moved their camp. Perhaps, says Timothy, settling into his own chair at Celise's side. Perhaps they've left entirely. They can't be foolish enough to remain in Eventide Forest now that they know we're here.
Can't they, Timothy?
He gestures and the servant from before appears at Regina's elbow with a tea service, then proceeds to give everyone a cup of steaming tea. Regina sets her carefully on the arm of her chair and ignores it. When the servant withdraws, Regina speaks. If it is truly my brother Kirik who leads these bandits, he will not leave until he is dead, or he sits in this chair. I trust everyone in this room with my life and the lives of my children, but we must consider the possibility that Kirik has allies within the village. Within your household, Mother, says Philip. Who else knew Talbot and I will be riding into the forest?
Timothy.
Let us not succumb to paranoia, Regina says with a gentle smile. She reaches out and clasps Philip's brown hand with her pale one, her signet ring flashing in the light of the roaring hearth. There are many ways Kirik's forces could have learned of your visit to the Tree of Tales. But surely one of them is that we have an informer in the household, says Rochelle.
Yeah, Timothy.
What would you have me do, Rochelle? Release my entire staff from service? Throw them all in the dungeon?
Yeah, sure.
We don't even have a dungeon, says Philip. You turned it into a wine cellar before I was born.
Throw him in the wine.
We can keep our eyes
Get them
open,
drunk.
says Celise. Kirik will try again, and when he does, we'll stop him. Quite right, says Regina. She closes her eyes, green like her children's, and shivers before pushing herself to her feet. Some colour blooms into her pale cheeks. When she opens her eyes, they are clear and bright. My son is alive, thanks to you. I can never fully express my gratitude, but perhaps this might be a start.
Ching ching.
She nods, and Timothy stands and hands you a small velvet pouch. It is surprisingly heavy. You gain 150 gold.
Oh,
Woohoo!
that's going to pay some health potions tomorrow.
Mark 3 progress in heroism.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, we're so close to filling up the first section. It is my hope you will remain in Dragonholt for now. I understand you have lodgings at the Swan. Please ask Sapphire to send me the bill for your room and board.
Nice.
Free food.
Yeah.
So expensive.
I'm eating tonight, I tell you. With that, she extends her hand with its glimmering ring. You kiss it and are dismissed. Rochelle escorts you to the door. She is darker than her mother, her skin brown rather than alabaster, her hair curly rather than straight, and her shoulders broad and her arms strong compared to Regina's almost wraith-like thinness. She has her mother's eyes and her mother's height. And as she steps through the door into the moonlight, you see she has her mother's regal bearing. My brother is very dear to me, she says. With my sister's death and my mother's failing health, I could not have borne his loss. I am grateful. You part with Rochelle at the manor stairs and walk back to the Swan as the moon passes its zenith. After arriving in your room, you eschew your gear and collapse in bed, almost immediately asleep. The next day is grey and rainy. The village seems to retreat into itself. The streets empty, but the taverns full and loud. Okay, this seems to be taking us on to the next section.
Good place
Yeah.
to break.
So I suspect this is where we should
We'll
stop.
wake up
Mark
for
that
day
down as,
We have
4,
completed
is
that
it?
one. We've got lots of fame and heroism.
And there's some goblins.
So if someone just wants to know as well, it's entry 5288.
5288.
And the next day in the village will begin.
5288, yep.
All right, great. Well, thanks very much for watching. Join us next time as we wander around the village. Oh, we're going to find goblins, aren't we?
We can go to the smithy and take a job.
So join us next time when we go to the smithy and get a job.
If we remember.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.